Hey guys, it's Sam, and this is my spoiler-free review of Stolen Songbird by Danielle L. Jensen. This is the first book in a young adult fantasy series, and it follows the main character of Cecile, and for her entire life she has wanted to be an opera singer, and she is about to go away to live with her mother, who kind of abandoned her when she was a child, but she still kind of wants to go live in the city and become this big opera star, sort of like her mother is, and she ends up getting abducted and taken by someone that she knows to be sold to the trolls who live under a mountain near where she grew up. And no one really knows much about these trolls. There's a lot of like legends about them, but no one's ever really seen them. So she is whisked away to this place to be married off to one of the princes of the trolls in order to fulfill a prophecy. And everything kind of goes from there. So this book first came out in 2014, and I've heard a lot of things about it since then. It's kind of one of those underrated series a lot of people talk about. So I've been wanting to read this for quite some time, but just haven't, and finally I got around to it. So I think one of the things that put me off originally before reading it was the talk of trolls. And I just want to say before getting into this, this is not your typical like monstrous troll, although some of the trolls do have like monstrous traits to them, which they get into in the like world building and the story and everything. But these trolls, some of them appear more like fae. So if you like fae stories, don't let the word troll put you off, because I think this actually has a lot more in line with fae stories than with trolls or like monsters or anything like that. So first off, I'm gonna talk about the world building. This city underneath the mountain is called Trollless, and it's where all the trolls live. So there are some things about it that are like a little bit simplistic, but overall, I still thought it was very cool. You have this like underground area. It kind of feels like the underworld to me, because like, what doesn't? Anytime I can grasp at an idea of the underworld, I take it. And there is a lot of like politics and things going on, and I did kind of get a feel for the aesthetic of the city and everything that's going on, and kind of the almost twisted magic that's happening there. Next, let me talk about our characters. Our main character, Cecile, kind of falls into a kind of YA trope of like, she's this skilled girl, but you don't really know why. Although I did find she does some lockpicking, and I kind of found that to be somewhat believable in the way that that was explained. But her singing, and the fact that it's called Stolen Songbird, is sort of something that you don't get a ton of. There's a few scenes, but it kind of feels like a little bit convenient with the scenes and everything, and it's not like, I don't feel as though her singing or music is like this core part of her personality. And she is impulsive in kind of a dumb way. Now, I really like impulsive, stubborn, especially female protagonists, but there are times when she does something and I'm like, could you just have waited like a second? Like just like I said, it doesn't really make sense. And I feel like some of the character interactions and the changes in the ways that characters feel about one another happen pretty quickly. So while this book is very large, it's also pretty fast-paced, because something will happen in a chapter and get resolved in the next chapter. So then that's more about the plot. But anyway, just even like character development things are kind of like that as well. So I did find her to like sometimes grate on me a bit, because I'm like, Cecile, you're in a dangerous situation and I need you to like breathe for a second before you go running off doing something stupid, which she does multiple times in the book. Also, the prince Tristan is kind of an asshole, and I feel like this book is pretty indicative of the time that it was written, because I feel like the asshole that has a secret, and that's a reason he's being an asshole, was sort of a very used trope back then, but I'm sort of sick of seeing it. But I did grow to kind of enjoy some of their dynamic and kind of what was going on in them trying to like trust one another. A lot of the side characters and villains though felt pretty tropey to me. There's a theme of like being deformed that is part of the story that I'm not sure was done super well. Like a lot of the like grotesqueness, and it's sort of like magical grotesqueness, but some of that just felt like, I can't pinpoint exactly what it was, but something about that is off and I don't like it. So some of those things held me back from getting really pulled into and invested in the characters. Lastly, I'm gonna talk about our plot. I kind of mentioned it earlier. This is very fast-paced, so you don't really have to hang in suspense for a very long time, which is nice. There was a cliffhanger ending, not in a way that I felt like it was going to be horrible for me, but if you don't like cliffhangers, just be warned about that. There is a cliffhanger ending. I also feel like with the plot, there are some things about the ending that made me think it's going to be kind of typical second YA book, if you know what I mean, if there's a love interest and stuff like that. So again, of the like 2013, 2014, there's something about 2013, 2014 YA guys that I can just like, I can pick this up and be like, it's a 2013 YA book. There's a feeling that you get, and that's very much how this was. Not unappealing to me because some of that is very nostalgic and such, but there were some things that's like, okay, I've seen some of these things, I get it. Also, I found some of the twists to be very apparent before they happen, and there's a twist that I think is coming up in later books that I'm like, I kind of called this at the beginning, but we were not going to reveal it until like maybe book 2, fine, but like it's pretty obvious what it is, I think. So overall, this was a fun story and something that I, again, am thinking I might continue, but I'm not sure. I'm not super compelled to pick it up right now, but I hear such great things about this series, and some people, even when I was reading this, said that like, oh, they've reread this so many times, they just reread it and it was just as good as the first time they read it. So it seems like the series may be worth it, and I'm intrigued to see if the books get better as they go on, because for this book, I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. So comment down below, let me know what you thought of Stolen Songbird. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see all of you guys soon. Bye.